A late night snowstorm led to a last-minute load of drywall up to the ranch at about midnight. The next morning there was a fresh 4 inches of snow on the ground, but it was a wet, sloppy snow that went away pretty quick. While myself and my oldest daughter Sage were eating sushi, I happened to look at the weather for the week and saw that there was a snowstorm due around 2 a.m. I wanted to get as much drywall up to the ranch before the road really got muddy, so I ran over to the local big box store and bought 34 sheets of drywall. The fact that there was 20 minutes left till closing didn't make the hired help very happy when they were loading it for me, but we got it done. It was about midnight before I was headed back home, but I got it up there before the snowstorm. The insulation upstairs is taking longer than I thought it would. I have little pieces that fall off the insulation here and there while I'm cutting and moving it around. So I take these little pieces and jam them into every little crack that I can find. The R value for a 6-inch bat of Roxul insulation is right at R23. The exterior walls are all 2x6 framed, so that's where most of the batting is going. By code, I have to have at least 8 inches of insulation in the ceilings. I have 2x12 rafters, so what I'm doing is a 4-inch bat on top of a 6-inch bat. This makes it R39. I have to leave the 2 inches to allow the bird block vents to do their job. But when I get to the middle of the house, I'm actually doing 2 6-inch bats on top of each other, which brings it to R46. When we first started building the house, I began researching a lot of different types of insulation. I've had an interest in the spray foam, especially the DIY spray foam, for a variety of reasons. But the one thing that really made me nervous was how potentially flammable it can be. Seems like a lot of people feel that it off-gases for a long time as well. On top of that, a DIY spray foam kit for a 2,000 square foot house was not cheap. The one thing that really moved me to use the Roxul insulation was the fact that it's literally a fire barrier. Roxul's known for a number of things. It's often used in high temp applications. It is a renewable product that is environmentally friendly. But the fact that we are as far away from a fire department, and the fact that the road is as bad as it is this time of year, I've got to do everything I can to prevent the possibility of a fire up here at the ranch. Even if the house did catch on fire, with the Roxul, the odds are it's going to spread a lot slower than other insulations. Roxul's also a very good sound deadener. There are some places like the laundry room and the bathrooms where I will likely insulate the walls. I stocked the Roxul installation up here last year, waiting for me to find the time to get it done. Now that we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, I've got to get all this finished up and move on to drywall. If there was a downside to Roxul, it's the fact that it's itchy. Wear a dust mask, wear eye protection, wear gloves. It's not that bad. It doesn't seem to bother me anywhere near as much as fiberglass used to bother me. As the weather's starting to change and it's beginning to warm up, I'm excited to see what having the Roxul insulation installed is going to do for our place. We do not have air conditioning. Our only source of heat is the wood stove. Our hope is during the summer that we can open the windows at night, keep them closed in the daytime, and during those couple of weeks when it gets in the 90s, the insulation should help keep the house cool enough. There is a possibility that we could do a window unit or maybe even a swamp cooler at some point, but I really want to try to live without it if possible. I'm using my ladder to stand over the stairwell, which is about an 8-foot drop. Using either one of these ladders probably isn't the best idea, but I gotta get it done. The 3-foot ladder shifted a little bit. I thought I was going down, but I think it looked worse than it was. The Roxul bat insulation is cut perfectly to fit between studs that are at 16 inches on center. They make it in a variety of different sizes. I specified what I needed long before I got it. It's a little bit of a pain working around the can lights, but the longer I worked, the better I got at it. Eventually, I would just lay a bat across the top of it Then take some of the smaller pieces that I had and fill in the holes. These can lights are also rated to be in contact with insulation. My older brother Ben, that's just older than me, started plumbing before I did. I always noticed that when he was working, he wore hoodies, even when the weather was starting to get warm. I later figured out that the hoodie kept the wood chips from going down your neck. I went and got a cheap hoodie that was actually a little bit too small for me, thinking this would be beneficial. And it helped quite a bit, but no matter what you do, you're going to itch a little bit. The best way to deal with it is just not to touch it until you can get cleaned up. All right, I am done for the week. I've got about 60% of the insulation done upstairs. I've probably got a half a day upstairs Monday and maybe a day downstairs. And then I'm done with insulation. It's taking a little bit longer than I thought it would. I thought I'd be done by now, but I'm really putting some extra effort into that second story ceiling. I'm trying to do everything I can to make sure that the R value is as high as it can be. On the outside edges of the roof, I'm doing a 4-inch bat and a 6-inch bat, which ends up making it about R39. Down the center, where I have that breeze, where I don't want to compromise the bird block. That's why I'm doing it this way. And I have more 6-inch than I do 4-inch. I'm doing two 6-inch bats stacked on top of each other, which is R46. And so that's a really high R value. And I've taken the time to seal every crack that I can. What's interesting is just since I've gone along and sealed all the bird block, all the every joint, every possible joint that I can find, the bugs are not inside. They're on the outside windows still, but you know, that was made me feel a little bit better about things. But anyway, it's miserable work. That's the only downside to any sort of insulation, I suppose, other than like you know, the cotton or the paper or something. But the stone wools, you got to wear your eye protection, you got to wear your mask. Anyway, I like the idea that it's not flammable. I love that about being up here in a remote setting. The truth is, right now, if a fire started and I had to if I called into town and told them the place was on fire, I don't know if any of their vehicles could even get up this road right now. Maybe the wildland firefighters could get up here, and I'm guessing by the time they got here, the place would be burned to the ground. So having an insulation that is not flammable makes me feel a little bit better about things, I suppose. But anyway, progress. Probably a half day Monday upstairs, probably a day downstairs, and I'm ready to move to drywall. I got a drywall lift. I've got 68 sheets sitting right there, which should be more than enough for upstairs and about half of downstairs. I would love to use 12-foot sheets, but there's no way I'm taking 10 and 12-foot sheets up the stairs, so I'm just going to do everything in 8-foot sheets upstairs. I think the ceiling downstairs, I'm going to try and do 10s, maybe even 12s, but anyway, it was a good week. I've gotten a lot done, although it doesn't look like it, but I'm sure glad I got a day off tomorrow. I'm pretty wore out. So anyway, we'll pick back up Monday, see how things are going. Progress. Melting like crazy. Everything's melting off like crazy. I'm getting real excited again. My inverter showed up. Everything is just kind of lining up. I feel like you know, I shouldn't jinx myself, but I feel good about things. Everything's kind of falling into place. Anyway, the next couple of months should be really exciting up here. So.